Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Tom.
It's time!
Live from the CSB studios in Westbury, New York.
It's the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Featuring co-host Kevin Dolan and the host that's been here since day one, Jerry Napoleonello. On Zeno Radio.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show live on Zeno Radio on this Monday, May 23rd. I'm Jerry Napoleonello. No Kevin Donlin today. Man, what a jam-packed week of sports. Some upsets in the NBA playoffs. Unfortunately, we will not witness something historic at the Belmont this year like we did last year. NHL playoffs are in full swing, and wait, the Yankees are showing life. The number to call, 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. But first I want to talk about, basically the NBA playoffs. I mean, a lot of controversy over the whole kicking of the midsection by Draymond Green on Steven Adams. And, funny story about that. I mean, for that game, the Thunder absolutely killed the Warriors, which we haven't seen all year against the Warriors. Maybe even last year, too, we haven't seen that. And, I mean, they won by over 25 points. But going back to the Draymond Green, funny story. I saw today on Twitter, someone posted a video of basically, they've obviously looked over tape on Draymond Green a lot. There was he had a bunch of clips, but obviously with Twitter, you're only allowed 30 seconds at a time. But he said that he had over 140 clips of Draymond Green basically doing like any type of shot, whether it be contested or just basically, bumped or any type of that. Not a non-contested shot, I guess you could say. Whether it be fouled or not, he always swings that leg out. So, that gives you some kind of idea. Maybe he didn't mean to kick him. I mean, it did look intentional. I'm not going to lie about that. It did look intentional. But after seeing all these clips, I mean, at first I really thought it was intentional. But seeing all these clips, you can see that he swings his leg out. And I don't know if he's doing it intentionally, because he could be doing it intentionally on all of those. Just, basically to, I don't know. I wouldn't know the reasoning behind, kicking somebody. Maybe he's just, fed up with getting hit, especially on that kind of player. I don't know. But he does swing his leg out. But that was one of the controversies in the NBA playoffs. The Cavaliers lose one to the Raptors the other day. The Thunder win Game 3 against the Warriors. So we got both series are through 3 games. The Cavaliers lead 2-1 in that series, and the Thunder lead 2-1 in that series. Going on, we had the NBA lottery the other day. I think it was Thursday, maybe. I believe it was Thursday. And, we had the top 3. Basically, you had, the teams that were really going for number 1. You had, the Celtics up there because that was a Nets lottery pick that they got in a trade. You also got the Philadelphia 76ers, who could have potentially ended up with 2 picks in the top 5 at least, because if the Lakers were to drop out of the top 3, they were to lose that pick to the Philadelphia 76ers. But this is how the bottom 3, top 3, bottom 3, however you want to say it, the number 1 pick, the number 2 pick, and the number 3 pick of the 2016 NBA draft coming up. This will be as followed.
The 3rd pick in this year's draft goes to
the Boston Celtics. The second pick will be made by the Los Angeles Lakers, and that means that the number one pick in the 2016 NBA draft goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
So basically, it went by how the percentage went. The 76ers, I think, ended up with Philadelphia Sixers, I guess you could say, ended up with, I think it was 25 or 26% to get the number one pick. The Lakers had 19.9, and I think the Celtics were in single digits. But that's how the NBA lottery went. There was also some controversy with this as well. Dikembe Mutombo, before the Sixers were handed the number one pick, he tweeted congratulations to the Sixers for their number one pick. So now obviously you have all the theorists out there, that the conspiracy theorists out there saying that, it's fixed. Then you had, also with the Knicks back in the day with Patrick Ewing, the frozen card. Then you had, the bent corner so that, David Stern would feel it. There's a lot of conspiracy theories with the NBA lottery. But supposedly the way it was, I think if I'm, because I heard this, I didn't really get to look into it, but from what I heard, it sounded like they were basically given tweets, like Dikembe Mutombo was given tweets to say congratulations to whoever basically got the number one pick, or wherever the Sixers got their pick, or whatever, however it went. And he made a mistake, or somebody made a mistake, or if he does have somebody tweeting for him made a mistake, whatever it was, that's what you're hearing from the NBA and Dikembe Mutombo. But from, you hear these conspiracy theorists out there that are, have it down pat that, the NBA is fixed and all that stuff. It's ridiculous. But NHL playoffs, the Tampa Bay Lightning come back to take the lead in that series. They're up 3-2. This series is coming down to the wire. It's a great series. I mean, you already got Malkin coming out, guaranteeing a win in Game 6. This series is just getting better and better. Then you go over to the other series. I believe the other series is the Sharks and the Blues. I think they're tied. Yes, they are tied 2-2. That's another great series. We have two great series going on in the NHL playoffs. Fun to watch. It's definitely going to be fun to watch the next 3 games in the Sharks series, 2 games in the Lightning, and then the Stanley Cup is going to be absolutely bonkers. But we also had some horse racing over the weekend. Saturday we had the Preakness. We have you're talking about Nyquist basically in the same talks as last year with American Pharoah, hoping to go for that Triple Crown again. And that the Belmont was definitely hoping that Nyquist took this, even if he was going to lose in the Belmont Stakes. At least they were going to make their money because people were going to go see an historic. Obviously, I mean, I don't think it ever happened where it happened back-to-back years. I mean, I could be mistaken. I'm not really that big into horse racing, but it's fun to watch these three races, especially when you have the Triple Crown. And I mean, last year it was fun. I remember last year, I remember exactly where I was when American Pharoah won the Triple Crown. I listened to it on the radio. I was actually on my way with my girlfriend Nicole to Florida for a vacation, and I remember, I think it was a tweet that I saw, something like that, and I totally forgot about it, and I was like, oh wow, I figured I would go and try to find it. I tried to find it on the radio. Obviously, I don't know, I can't remember where we were because we were driving down to Florida. It was an awesome trip. We had a great time, but I mean, it was one of those moments, I was trying to find it on the radio. I don't think I found it on the radio, so I think I found it on my phone, and we listened to, the play-by-play, I guess you could say, of the race all the way down to the finish line. And, the call of that was amazing, gave me goosebumps. But I'll always remember that because that trip was so great, that I'll always remember that moment. And, even that moment made it even better, because Triple Crown, you don't see that very often. So, but this is how the last turn, basically, or the last stretch, went at the Preakness.
And they're into the stretch, and it's Nyquist in front. His adversary, Exaggerator, got a jump on him, and he's gone by to take the lead as they come to the 8th pole. It is Exaggerator in front. Now, Nyquist switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole. The gutty Nyquist is coming at him in second, and then Stradivari, followed by Cherry Wine. But Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness Stakes.
So it's funny because you listen to that, and horse racing isn't like any other sport. I guess you could say it's kind of like NASCAR, but NASCAR's so long. These horse races are, I think the tops is maybe comes close to 2 minutes. Or a little bit over 2 minutes, and they're done so quick. It's so quick, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to listen to, and I love listening to it. I don't know if it's because I'm into this this business of whether it be broadcasting or being on the radio, and just how someone sounds, especially when they're into it. That's the best part of broadcasting, is when somebody's into it. You have, and that's why. And actually, over the week, and I'll talk about this later with the Yankees, because it has something to do with the Mets as well. But I'm going to talk about that later. But it has something to do with this, and I'll transition to it. You'll see how I transition to it, actually. But, I just love listening to, his call of either the Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes, the Preakness, the Kentucky Derby. But I love watching these three races, especially when there's a good horse out there. But moving on, real quick before I get on to the other things, I have some big things to talk about, especially with the NFL, and I actually have a list that I'm going to read off. But Johnny Manziel is in the news once again. Not once, but twice. Again. This guy right here basically makes sports radio fun because it gives you something to talk about. He's a walking headline, and the guy isn't even on a team. He's a walking headline, not even on a team. He's not even going to play a down of football next year. But he's in the headlines. He's in the news. Everybody's talking about him. This guy once again got into a fight in a club. TMZ caught it all. Supposedly Drake was coming into the club. People started to push, and I guess Johnny Manziel got pushed and turned around and clocked the guy. So that started. Then I read another story today of Johnny Manziel is being investigated even by the NFL, and he's not even on a team. So this is how you know something serious. That he was in a motor vehicle accident, hit a pole, was with the guy that was driving was a person in Drake's entourage, I guess you could call him. This was a rental Mercedes. Johnny Manziel and this guy fled the scene. Then were picked up by, who do you think? Who do you think? Oh, yeah, Josh Gordon. Another idiot. So that is supposedly the guy that owns the rental agency called the NFL for help because the guy Johnny Manziel promised to buy this guy another car, and I think he did like $900,000 in damages, something like that, if I'm remembering correctly. I mean, this guy just can't stay out of the news. He's never going to play another down of football. Never. I think the biggest downfall, obviously, the kid was always looked at as an upper echelon type person, whether it be at Texas A&M, and then, even coming into the NFL, everybody talked about him. The guy started maybe 4 games, and people were talking about him. But, I mean, I don't even know what to say about this guy anymore. He needs help. But I think the biggest problem was that he's rich. And not even from football. His family's rich. I don't know if anybody knows that. His family's rich. This is why he does the things that he does. He's a spoiled brat. But I'm not even saying that that's why he's getting into these problems, but he's able to get into these problems because his parents are rich, his family is rich. He has the money to do these. He doesn't need football. That's the biggest thing. Like, he doesn't need football to make money. He already has the money. But I'm going to bring up a list that I wanted to bring up for the NFL. And also I want to talk about the Redskins. You may know why I want to talk about them, but you'll find out after the break. Nothing better than the NHL playoffs. We'll go over that as well when we get back on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Cyberstation USA is the future of radio. Get your business into the online future at the world's largest internet radio station. From banner placement on our homepage to any of our broadcaster stations, commercials on our video player, audio spots on any of our shows, or at the beginning of any of our on-demand broadcasts. Cyberstation USA offers competitive rates with a worldwide reach, a fully integrated one-stop-shop social media broadcast platform. For more information, please contact our sales department at cameo@cyberstationusa.com.
All Noise Radio, powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Monday on Zeno Radio and re-airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Cyberstation USA and the Stitcher app. You can also tune in every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports, or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com, or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live.
Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down.
We are back. Tom and Jerry Sports Show, 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. The NHL Conference Finals are halfway through. And, man, we have 2 great series going on. First, I wanted to get into what I wasn't able to talk about last segment, and that's the Washington Redskins. Now, I'm not going to be talking about anything about them on the field, because everybody knows how much I hate the Redskins. But I have to side with the owner, Daniel Snyder, on this topic. And this has been a topic for the last 2 or 3 years, I guess you could say. And basically, the whole topic of the Redskins team name being offensive Now, the thing that gets me, now before I even get into what the Washington Post did and put an article about out, I don't understand some people. I don't understand how you can say you're offended by something, but you have you're not affected by it at all. You're not Native American. You don't know anybody Native American. How can you sit there and say you're offended by it? I feel like people are doing it for attention. Like, ooh, I'm just gonna, pick a side here, and I want to go against these people. And I can feel for these people. You have no idea. You have no idea, because this article right here is going to show you have no idea. You have no idea what these Native Americans feel. You have no idea how they feel, what they think. So I think everybody that's not Native American or is not, affected by a Native American or, has or knows a Native American, I think you should just shut your mouth. Basically, leave it at that. Shut your mouth. I mean, I see people on ESPN, and other things that I mean, won't say their name. Will just say the Washington team or Washington football team or or when they're typing it, they put an asterisk like it's a curse. I mean, it makes me laugh. What does it matter? What do you have to do with this? And these are people that are big named people in the business, or that are famous or whatever it is, and they won't say the name. I don't care who you are. If you're not affected by a Native American, whether it be you are or somebody. If you have nothing to do with that, shut your mouth. Let it be. The Redskins have been around for years, multiple. I mean, just very, very long time the Redskins been around. Not one person has brought this up until now. Why is this a problem now? I don't understand it. But now I'm going to get into the article. The Washington Post did a poll of Native Americans and asked them, this is the question. The professional football team in Washington calls itself the Washington Redskins. As a Native American, do you find the name offensive or doesn't it bother you? Okay. 1% said they have no opinion on it. 90% is one side compared to 9% on the other side. I'm going to let it sink in here. You're going to think about this, what you think it is, because I guarantee you're wrong. 90% of the people that were given this question put down, it does not bother them. Native Americans, people, in the poll here. And I'll tell you, here it is. The Washington Post poll was conducted by telephone December 16th to April 12th among a random national sample of 504 Native American adults. Interviews were conducted by live interviewers on conventional and cellular phones. The margin of sampling error for overall results is 5.5% points. 90% of 504 Native Americans that were given this question said it does not bother them. Everybody else should zip their lip now. This should not even be a problem anymore. When we start to bring up these things, the Washington Redskins have been around a very long time in the NFL. Okay? But when you start looking at other teams, maybe the people in the South, maybe they think that the Yankees is offensive. Or the Canucks. Or the Canadians. If they really, I mean, the way that everybody's nitpicking, you might as well. The Canadians. I don't want to be called a Canadian. That's offensive. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous that people have to get into other people's business, I guess you can say. All right, so, and I think they did more of this here. So 9 in 10 Native Americans said that it was not disrespectful. And here, in general, this was 504 Native Americans that, obviously, asked of 340 respondents, January 12th to April 14th, error margin 7% points. Here we go. In general, do you feel the word Redskin is disrespectful of Native Americans or not? So here, we got a tribe member here. 20% and 75%. 6% of that was no opinion. So 20% and 75%. Yes, the 75% was not disrespectful. The 20% was disrespectful. Okay, these are tribe members now. Now we got not tribe members. We have 6%, no opinion. 71%, not disrespectful. 23%, disrespectful. Overall, 73% said it's not disrespectful, compared to 21% that said it was disrespectful, and 6% had no opinion. So, I mean, Daniel Snyder has stuck to his guns on this. He will not change it. I'm very glad that he will not, bow down to these people. I'm glad he's doing that. And I'm full force with Daniel Snyder on this. And, Daniel Snyder, obviously, if this was, I don't think he would have changed it if it was flipped around, even if it was 90% was, that it was offensive. I don't think he would have changed it anyway, but going with it, I still, now coming out 90% that it does not bother them. There's no chance of it changing. So everybody can stop not saying the name or putting an asterisk next to it or censoring it or whatever. It's over. It's over, people. It's over. It's over. And I obviously went way too long on this that I wanted to. Before I get, to the NHL playoffs, I want to talk about that real quick, but I guess I'm going to have to talk about it next segment. But we have there was a list that was given out by, I think it's Sporting News. So they had the 40 most hated NFL players of all time, loudmouths, cheaters, and criminals. Number 40, Eli Manning. 39, Marshawn Lynch. 38, Rob Gronkowski, Rodney Harrison, Odell Beckham, Lawrence Taylor, Jim McMahon, Richard Sherman, Ricky Williams, Keyshawn Johnson, Mark Gastineau, Brian Cox, Vontaze Burfict, Hines Ward, Jack Tatum, Cortland Finnegan, Chuck Cecil, Chad Johnson, Brett Favre, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, Deion Sanders, Randy Moss, Richie Incognito, Johnny Manziel, James Harrison, Conrad Dobler, Albert Hainsworth, Jay Cutler, Michael Irvin. The top 10 will be Adrian Peterson, Adam Pac-Man Jones, Ben Roethlisberger, Bill Romanowski, Ray Lewis, Tom Brady, Greg Hardy, Ndamukong Suh, and the top 2, Terrell Owens and Michael Vick. Some of these were kind of questionable. I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was hilarious that Eli Manning's up there. I love it. I absolutely love it. Tony Romo was not up there. I love it. Because, I feel like everybody hates Tony Romo, but I love that he's not up there. And I guess you could say one Cowboy. It was actually 2. Terrell Owens is up there. But I love Terrell Owens. I love him. But when I come back, I'm going to talk about the NHL playoffs, and then we're halfway through the conference finals. We'll talk some NBA playoffs coming up when we get back. You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on Zeno Live. The Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Monday on Zeno Radio and re-airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Cyberstation USA and the Stitcher app. You can also tune in every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports, or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5.
Ambi Entertainment Group and Cyberstation USA are now part of Stitcher, a free radio app for your smartphone. With Stitcher, you can listen to live programming as well as archived radio programming right on your phone. To obtain Stitcher, just go to the App Store for your particular phone. Go to search, then type in Stitcher. That's Stitcher, S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. Then download. It's that simple. Stitcher, a free radio app for your smartphone. Convenient access to live and archived Cyberstation USA programming on your mobile phone. That's Stitcher, S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. Cyberstation USA, always on the go.
All Noise Radio. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
We're riding down the boulevard. We're riding through the dark night.
We are back. Before I left, I said I was going to get into the NHL playoffs because I didn't get into it last segment. As I said earlier in the show, Lightning Penguins, great series going on right now. Back and forth. Tampa Bay has the lead in the series 3-2. Last week before, we were talking about it, I think it was, we were only through game one. Yeah. Sharks and Blues are tied 2-2 right now. And as I said, game one was Sunday, the day before we had our show. Game 2 was Tuesday, right, the day after, and then Game 3 Thursday, Game 4 Saturday, and you heard the scores. None of the after Game 1, it wasn't close because Game 1 was 2-1. But this series is, it's before this series, I felt like the Sharks were the best team in the NHL. In the NHL playoffs. That's kind of changing here. I think the Blues are playing very good in this series. They really are. And they've been playing very good throughout the playoffs. But, when I'm talking about the best team in the playoffs, you start thinking about the Penguins because the Penguins have been playing so well. But, now that they're losing, in the series, they got to win. Well, obviously they have to win. But I feel like Tampa Bay has to end it because if they don't end it, I feel like the Penguins are probably going to win that series. But as I said, Sharks and Blues tied 2-2. Before I get into the other series, tonight is Game 5 for the Blues and Sharks tonight at 8 o'clock on NBC Network, Sports Network. And then going on to the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Lightning coming off a overtime win. Every one of these games have been close. You had your the 2-goal wins and stuff like that. You had Game 1 was 3-1 Tampa Bay. Game 2, 3-2 Pittsburgh in overtime. Sidney Crosby. Game 3, 4-2 Pittsburgh. Game 4, Tampa Bay tied the series up 2-2. 2-2. And they won 4-3, and then Tampa Bay ended up taking the lead in the series right after that on Sunday with the 4-3 victory in overtime. So, Ben Bishop is still not back yet. Stamkos is still not back yet. So, it's going to be difficult to see what happens with those guys. If they come back, Tampa Bay has a good shot of winning it all. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. But moving on to the NBA playoffs, actually breaking news coming to me right now. Draymond Green reportedly will not be suspended for the kick to the groin of Thunder's Steven Adams. So basically kind of what I was talking about earlier in the show. That's how I felt. I thought that was going to happen. We have Warriors and Thunder. Warriors and Thunder. Wow. I did not see this coming. I honestly did not see this coming. Not only did the Thunder, win game 1, Warriors came back, tied it up. I kind of figured that. I've told everybody that I felt like the Warriors were going to kill the Thunder in game 2, and they won pretty, decisively. But now you go into Oklahoma City, and I just, I thought that the Warriors were just going to take over the series after Game 2. That was out of the question here in Game 3. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook imposed their will on the Warriors. Unbelievably. I think Durant had 33. I think Russell Westbrook had 30. They smoked the Warriors in Game 3. Smoked them. Take the lead in the series 2-1. They win this game 133-105. Not even close. And Ray Rado tweeted out of CSN, if I just find it here, tweeted out, NBA playoffs have already had 15 games decided by 25 points or more. 7 years ago, 11 of the 3 years before that. So, that's insane. And I definitely seen that this year in the playoffs. That there has been pretty decisive games. Not much. There's, honestly, how many times have you seen an actual good game in the playoffs this year? Maybe a handful. Not many. And this other series we're going to get into, Cavaliers and Raptors. I'm surprised that the Raptors even won Game 3. I did not see the Raptors winning a game, not even getting close, to be honest with you. I thought this was going to be a runaway, and we said it last week. Me and Kevin sat here, and we said that we thought this series was going to be an absolute blowout. Cavaliers already in the championship. But that didn't happen in Game 3. Cavaliers lose that game to the Raptors. I don't see the Raptors winning another game, and I'm pretty sure about that, to be honest with you. So there's really not much to talk about here. Game 3, Raptors win it. The Cavaliers still have a 2-1 lead in the series, and If I seem a little annoyed or whatever, I had the video camera here. Had it sitting here. I'm getting ready to do the show. I turn the video camera on. I have it in a perfect spot. See me perfectly. You see everything around me. It was perfect. And I finished before we got into the commercial before this segment. I'm looking at it, and I noticed I didn't click record. I did not click record. You know how annoying that is? So now, basically, you're going to see on YouTube, as you could see me now, you're going to see half the show. The other half is just going to be basically a bunch of pictures. And I apologize for that. That was my idiotic move. But I digress, and I move on to a question that I wanted to bring up. And this happened over last week, right after the show in one of the games in the Warriors and Thunder series. Steph Curry ran into the crowd to save a ball. I don't even think he saved it. Nobody caught him. Ended up with a big knot on his elbow. Big one. Now, when we're talking about stuff like this, now people are killing him for doing that. I don't remember what the game was like at that point. I don't know if it was close. I don't know, if it would have meant anything. I don't know. I don't remember. But it kind of caught my eye, I guess you could say. People were killing him for doing that. And then, we kind of talk about Steph Curry, and Steph Curry was hurt, missed a lot of these games in the playoffs. And I was the first one to say, oh, yeah, you know what? You should sit him, let him go, let him get ready to go against a team that he's going to need to face, whether it be the Thunder or the Spurs. I thought it was going to be the Spurs, so I was wrong about that. But I was the first one to say, yeah, leave him on the bench. But this just kind of gets to me because it's like, you know what? We kill people for playing hurt. We kill people for not playing hurt. Then with the whole thing jumping into the stands, people were killing Steph Curry for jumping into the stands. But why are we on the other way with Cam Newton jumping on that fumble in the Super Bowl? Oh, he had to jump onto that. He had to do this. He had to do that. But Steph Curry, no. Take your time. Let it go out. I don't understand you people. It's one way or the other. I mean, I don't understand it. I want my top player basically running like a madman, running like a chicken without a head. I want him in everything. I want top-notch energy and top-notch effort. Steph Curry was giving that to people. Yes, it did end up with a knot on his elbow, but you know what? Kill the people that were sitting there. How you're home and you let your number one player, and even, I mean, some will say he's the best in the world, which I think, but how you let him jump into the stands and you don't even catch him. I mean, that's like kind of like with the whole Derek Jeter thing, jumping into the stands. I mean, I don't know how you don't catch this player. I mean, with Derek Jeter, it would have been a little bit more dangerous if you would have tried to catch him. He might have really did something worse than hitting his face on the seats. But I just don't understand people. I would love to hear everybody's opinion on this. Tweet at us. I'm going to put a poll up on Twitter, and I want to hear what everybody has to say. So, I just basically, I want to hear what people have to say. But I have some Larry Bird comments that I want to bring up next segment. Also, I have a new favorite baseball player. Well, he's retired, but go figure, he used to be a Met. I'll let you know who that is and why he became one of my new favorite players because of comments that he made on another radio show. Coming up on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on Zeno Live.
This is the evolution of radio.
Cyberstation USA.
Our inventions change us. They make us think differently.
Something new added to the real world.
The leading edge of evolution.
That development has got to be delivered.
CyberstationUSA.com.
The most sophisticated that I've ever seen.
I'm not sure exactly what the future is, but I'm pretty sure it's not going away.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting founder Dick Robinson.
You know, the media business has changed a lot since we opened our doors in 1964. Now media content is everywhere, on air, online, on the go. More than ever, companies are looking for people to help drive this new media.
At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, you'll get hands-on training on the latest software and equipment in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has placed thousands of grads in broadcast media careers.
It's all about versatility. You see, at a radio station, if you also know how to shoot, edit, and post videos, you become a pretty hot commodity. That's the training you get at Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting with locations up and down the East Coast from Massachusetts to Miami. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Connecticut School of Broadcasting, the nation's oldest and largest group of broadcast media schools, redefining training in radio, TV, and new media. Get trained. Get connected. 1-800-TV-RADIO.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Monday on Zeno Radio and re-airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Cyberstation USA and the Stitcher app. You can also tune in every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live.
We used to have it all, but now's our curtain call. So hold for the applause. Oh, 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 oh. And wave out to the crowd and take our final bow. Oh, it's our time to go.
We are back. Tom and Jerry Sports Show. Jerry taking phone calls here at 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. So now, I know everybody wants to hear my new favorite player, but I want to bring up, before I do that, the Larry Bird comments. Now, everybody, all these older players have been killing this new era of basketball and Steph Curry, but Larry Bird was on the other side of this. And I'm going to read you some of the comments that he had. It's funny how the game has changed, Bird told writer Charles Bethea. And my thinking about it, I was really worried back 16, 17 years ago that the little guy didn't have a spot in the NBA anymore. It was just going to be the big guards like Magic Johnson, but then players started shooting more threes and spacing the court, and everyone wants small guards now. Watching these kids play now, I'm like everybody else. Wow, man, they can really shoot. They have more freedom to get to the basket. The ball moves a little bit better. These kids are shooting from farther with more accuracy. Now some teams shoot up around 33s a game. My era, you always think that's the greatest era, but I'm not so sure anymore. He also went on to say, when I first played in the NBA, there's something I don't like about this league. It was the drugs. It was the guys who didn't want to play all the time. I didn't get any enjoyment out of a game unless the guy I was playing against challenged me on every possession. But as the years went on, with Magic in it, the league got better. We got better players, Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, John Stockton. We had quality guys in the league. So basically he's saying that this may be the greatest era of NBA. I may not go as far as that, but I like what he had to say about, the small guy in the NBA and, Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry can play in any era, and I've said this over and over again. He can play in any era. The handles that he has, the crossovers, the speed that he has, the way he can shoot off of anything, whether it be a spot up, whether it be a fast break three, whether it be catch and shoot, whether it be creating your own shot and shooting. He can do it all. And the speed and the handles that he has are the reason he can do that, and is the reason he could play in any era. Yes, he might be a little small, might be a little frail compared to, the older era, but I mean, he would have got his shots, and he would have played maybe not to this level, but he would be close to this level. So, I wanted to move on from that, and I have some comments that I want to bring up. But first, we got our Yankees update, as well as our Mets update. But first with the Yankees. The Yankees are coming back to life. It's amazing. We got CC Sabathia coming back. We had him come back this past week. He pitched well. We have A-Rod coming back this week. I think he's coming back tomorrow. We're getting our injured players back. We're playing well. We're pitching well. I think we're 10-4 since Aroldis Chapman came off of suspension. He hasn't played in every game. He hasn't been the reason for every game, but it definitely has changed this team. I love it. They're playing very well now. They're hitting. They come off of a West Coast. You had. Before last week, we said that we won a series against the Red Sox, 2 out of 3. We won a series against the Royals, 3 out of 4. We won a series against the White Sox, 2 out of 3. Then we played the Arizona Diamondbacks. We ended up losing 2 out of 3 from there. Okay, that's fine. We sweep the Athletics in a 4-game series. We win 5 straight so far. We got the Blue Jays coming up. A great series coming up in the Bronx. It's nice to see with the Yankees right now. They're playing very well. They won 5 straight. We're one game from 500, which is huge. I mean, from going back to 2 weeks ago, we were 8 games from under 500. So this is huge. And I'm excited to see how the Yankees play these next couple of series, because we got the Blue Jays, 3 in the Bronx. Then we got the Rays, 3 in the Trop. And then we got the Blue Jays, 3 in Toronto. And then we got the one game, the makeup game against the Tigers. Then we got 3 games in Baltimore. So it's big 2 weeks coming up for the Yankees, because then they go on and play the Angels 4 games at home. They got the Tigers 3 games at home, and that last one being Old Timers Day, which is always fun to watch for the Yankees. So it's an exciting couple of weeks for the Yankees. We'll see what they're made of these next couple of weeks. On to the Mets. The Mets have been, quieter than, I guess, I don't want to say not many people were talking about them, but they just came off of a series with the Nationals that they lost 2 out of 3. They played the Brewers. They swept the Brewers, and now they got the Nationals again in Washington. Another exciting series against the Nationals. We'll see what happens with that. Matt Harvey got shelled, 9 runs. This Mets team is starting to fall into the injury bug. We had Duda come out today with a stress fracture in his back. So that's going to be 4 to 6 weeks he's out, which is, that's a big loss. I don't know what else to tell you. At least Steven Matz came back, and he pitched well his first game back. Then you go on to some other injuries. Alex Gordon put on the DL with a fractured wrist for KC, and Josh Hamilton will miss the remainder of the season when he gets surgery here. So that's big. And Yu Darvish will be making his first start of the season against for the Rangers on Saturday. So we'll see what happens with that. But now I want to go on to the player that I've basically been teasing up to this point. But you know what? I'm not even going to talk about that yet. I'm going to talk about the MLB changing the rules again for maybe next year with the strike zone and intentional walks changes. It looks like the intentional walk will be putting up 4 fingers. The guy takes a walk. And MLB strike zone, they want to bring it up. They want to move it up. So I'm not really even going to get more into that. But that's it. But how many of you have maybe lost your job but not finding out by someone that works for your job or your boss or supervisor? Freddie Gonzalez can say that with Atlanta. And I didn't read the full story about this. It's just from what I heard. Freddie Gonzalez, I think they were away. And he gets an email from their travel agent saying, Now, mind you, he's getting ready to, go manage the Atlanta Braves in a game. And he gets an email saying that his tickets for, going back home are, for this so-and-so time or whatever. So, what's the deal? Well, he got fired. And that was the way he found out, from the travel agent. Not even Atlanta. That is embarrassing for the organization. That not even embarrassing. That's pitiful. How could you let that happen? How does a Major League Baseball team let that happen? And I thought that was a funny story. Not so funny for Freddie Gonzalez, but it's just crazy to me. But now on to what everybody has been, on the edge of their seat for. Lenny Dykstra is my new favorite player. Yes, he is retired. Yes, he played for the Mets. But boy, oh boy, wait till you hear this. He went on to the show. He's got a new book coming out telling all about his career and life or whatever. And he's been a headliner, I guess you could say, with what he says lately, at least. But he went on to the Colin Cowherd show, and this is what came about of that.
Did you ever use HGH?
No, I put that in my cereal, man.
Okay, so you used it all the time.
That was in my cereal. I was like, come on, HGH, yeah. No, we're talking about the good stuff, Decadurabolin and testosterone and Anadrol. We're talking about the difference in making $30 million or getting a real job and working and making $60,000. What, do you let the guy next to you take him and you're not going to take him?
Do you watch baseball as much today?
I'm going to be honest with you, I don't. I don't. I just, everything you said, and I agree with. I don't see the excitement. I don't see the people playing the game the right way. I don't see people playing and taking it, like I used to tell people when I played and my team, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into their house, we're going to do their women, and we're going to take their money. That's it. You talk to the other team, I see you talking to the other team, we're fighting. We're playing for real money. It's like they're all, look, it's just a different sport, and that's why it's kind of falling behind. Look at basketball, look at football. You see them having great times. You see the people coming out, and it's exciting. I just don't see the excitement. The game is got a little bit boring.
I agree with him 110%. That's why I love it. I love it. He went on in that interview and also said that he thinks it's ridiculous that the three best players ever in baseball are not going to be allowed into the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds, Pete Rose, and Roger Clemens. Obviously, Pete Rose not being for the same reason, but I loved everything that he said because I think it does need more excitement. I love the bat flips. I love all of that. It's what makes it fun. You love the bench clearing fights. You love all of that. But also, the thing is, he just said that he just took HGH, and that whole Phillies team was taking HGH. I don't care what anybody says. That whole team was taking it. Many people took HGH back in the day. Many. And if it wasn't drugs like that, PEDs like that, they were taking coke, they were taking all that other stuff. How can you all of a sudden now, because it's getting tested, hold out these players when back in the day you have players that I can guarantee that are in the Hall of Fame that have taken steroids? I can guarantee it. But we'll talk more about this next week. Actually, next week we're going to be off. Memorial Day weekend. Monday is Memorial Day. We won't be here. So the week after that, we may have some big news for you guys. Keep it locked to TNJ Sports on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We may have some big news, and I hope it's big news for you guys, because it's going to be big news for us as well. So the clock on the wall says that is all. I'm Jerry. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Be breezy.
You've been listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show
on Zeno Radio.